Hi beautifuls, welcome back. We are here to do the update as per the title. Now, if you are wanting a booking, the link is directly below. As well as for those of you that have followed me for ever so long, thank you so much for following, commenting and subscribing. Your loyalty means the absolute world to me. Thank you so much for all your super chat. Well, we do have super chat live. And those of you that do donate to the channel, everything that you guys give me, I do try and pour back into the channel to bring the best creative content to you. And also a big thank you to YouTube for this platform where we can all interconnect. Now, for those of you that don't know, each month I do come to you guys both live and pre-recorded. Please do click the bell and keep an eye on the community tab, because time to time I do put information up there that is going to assist with you. Now, this will also be information relating to the subject in the title, as well as I am incorporating inside of this the energy of your zodiac signs. Now, you'll be able to stream forward and stream back. I will connect into the collective energy of this subject matter and then directly into your zodiacs. Love and light, let's get into the transit. Okay, let's get into the information of this eclipse cycle. Now, the eclipse is going to be in Gemini and it is going to be at 14 degrees. Now, it's very close to the critical degrees in astrology, and during this video we're going to quickly discuss some of the themes that can come up in the collective, which is really important that you guys listen to it, because although we do look at the house systems inside your zodiac, it's also what's happening around us connected to the globe, and with the nodes both being in Sagittarius and Gemini. Now, we do have eclipses back to back, and this is really moving us into the energy of next month, as well as moving into 2021. So we will find between now and next month, there's pivotal changes that do connect to that. Now, the sun is going to be at 9 degrees in Sagittarius. So our actions, our movements, the way we're looking at the world, the way we're attempting to move forward. Sagittarius is the south node. Now, it is very much in a collective sense the 9th house placement. Now, this can relate to religion, education, foreign countries, travel and purpose. And subjects surrounding those energies can be coming up on the media or through within our ego. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. It can be a positive thing, but with other aspects there can be critical points due to the fact that we have Aries and Chiron retrograde until next month, connected to the 15th. We also have Neptune in Pisces stationary during that point, which from a psychological point of view, from a spiritual sense, we can be having some things that maybe can really surprise us and transform that energy. Although it's linked to Gemini, the eclipse, the energy is still coming through from the south node of what we're trying to move away from, moving towards the north node, Gemini. So the two subject matters are going to come up with both eclipses. Now, let's quickly look at the nodal energy. Now, we can at this time look back to May, because themes surrounding these two eclipses moving forward are going to come up in the collective. The south node is the energy of Sagittarius. Now, this was either connected to the past or energetically for what you believe past life. Now, it is connecting into religion, education, foreign countries, travel and purpose. And at a very separate level, it can be culture, global communities, long distance travel, higher education, publicity, freedom, advertising, philosophies, and the bigger picture. Now, I do tend to find during these transits from personal experience, we do tend to have a cycle where this is a 2.5 year cycle and then about a 5 to 6 month kind of implementation of those energies. So very much linking to Sagittarius, it's the way we were in the past and how we're going to transform, but you do end up accidentally transforming this house due to requirements and experiences that can occur in the collective. It transforms our perspectives, perceptions, and disposition really entirely 360. Now, this can also relate to sports stars, people in the elite, popes, spiritualists, again, religion. It also can relate to our education. Now, the North Node in Gemini on the axis is what we're meant to be moving towards at a theoretical level, and each of us has that placement within our zodiac sign, which I will discuss further in. Now, with that, it's really what's going to balance things out. So it's using things from the South Node and pushing it towards the North Node, and it's where we're going to learn. Now, Gemini also can be connecting to education, schooling, communication, technology, emails, transparency, news, gossip, IT, local community. Air-based energy, it is a very air-based frequency in its zodiac element. Subjects to do with your hobbies and the things you do with your hands. IT, driving, transport, and your local community. Now, we do need to pay careful attention to these areas I've mentioned, and pretty much both sides, really. I'm also really feeling that how this is going to fall for each of us will also fall for us collectively, and it's directly going to transform all of us. Now, let's talk about the chakras very briefly before we get into the transit. The chakras that are going to come up for us collectively is throat chakra. As you can hear, I'm a bit husky today. So with throat chakra, it is due to the fact that Gemini is linked to throat chakra. Also with higher heart chakra, we'll get the Virgo elements where we can actually become, where we're needing to integrate that and perfectify it to a degree, the healthy energy within that. So higher heart chakra and throat chakra can come up. Also, we will have the frequency of crown chakra and third eye due to the fact that we have both Cancer and Capricorn in that energy with moon energy coming through. So clearing your third eye, doing guided meditation, again, eating food groups connected to that from a spiritual point of view if you choose to. Especially if you are feeling out of sort, it would be advisable, obviously, that you seek medical advice, very separate to this advice, and just concern between what is going to be correct for you. Now, moving through this with Uranus and Taurus, it won't be going direct until the 1st of January. So again, it is crown chakra. We can feel a little bit distorted and agitated. Also with Aries and Chiron retrograde until next month on the 15th, that can amplify that frustration wherever Mars directly falls for you and Aries, so to speak. So again, keeping grounded through that process and knowing that next month it is changing. Even if it feels pretty funky, please do trust the process or book a reading. Okay, environmental awareness when we are looking at forecasts of astrology and weather. Pay attention to the environment. Number one, Gemini is linked to air. Neptune is linked to the undersea. Neptune will be stationary during the eclipse, which is quite problematic, and we still do have Aries and Chiron retrograde. Neptune, Uranus and Taurus actually does link to sky, thunder, lightning, very, very frightening. So again, these transits can bring about weather patterns that are pretty funky. So again, do be aware of your environment, where you are, how you're driving, how you're moving, and again, very separately, it can be things relating to locations that have both Gemini, Sagittarius, Taurus connected to them. This can be farming and agriculture because Taurus is directly related to such. It also can be food supplies and resources. Separately, you can find that certain countries with those zodiac signs can have a link to it somewhere in the house placement. I do know that both Australia and America have a link to Taurus. Again, looking at it, how that's going to change. Next year in 2021, we do have 3 squaring aspects to Saturn in Aquarius. And that's really, with Uranus and Taurus any aspects, when it does go direct, which is January 2021, it can be a quick change. And it doesn't have to be a negative thing. It can be a positive thing, but there can be things coming up on the media relating to these areas. Some of the things that you may see coming through in the media during this transit and through to next month can be linking to weather, finances, global events, environmental events. Again, keeping grounded during the transit. There also can be transformation and technology going from one to another. Whatever these energies are, very much linking to Gemini, can be your local area. It can be schooling systems. Again, some events may be very profound and they really shake us. Be anything to global events that we are so profoundly shocked by, or it can be really, really wonderful things. But again, we have the Sun in Sagittarius quincunxing Uranus and Taurus. So we may feel that we are moving forward and we're doing all we physically can. But there's a pivotal point when it does come to Uranus and Taurus, and it is currently retrograde, so we still have time to correct that energy. But there can be things connected to stock market, finances, looking at the trajectory of moving forward, and even global events due to the frustration and Neptune and Pisces being stationary, the psychology surrounding energies, and really look back at history at some of the times when this energy was present. Now, Sagittarius also links to gurus, spiritual energies, religion, stars. Now, some of the energies of Gemini, and it doesn't have to be that it's linking to these individuals, however, it is first house placement. So it can be any zodiac sign really, but some zodiac signs that are quite well known, and potentially there could be something in the media relating to the energy of this point, is Naomi Campbell, Heidi Klum, Mary Kate, Ashley Olsen, Angelina Jolie, Morgan Freeman, Tom Holland, Wentworth Miller, and Anderson Cooper. Overall, how can we look at this? Number one, we do have the Sun in Sagittarius in opposition to the Moon in Gemini. So it's still making that yin-yang axis, and it's really important to get into that. Number one, you will find your emotions relating to communication and your spirituality and how you're showing up in the world. It might be complicated. Some of us might feel a bit fearful to show our true colors. At another level, we might be keeping those things quite close to our chest. Now, with the Sun in Sagittarius, quincunxing Uranus and Taurus, this can be really working very hard to make ends meet. It can be you looking at how you can move things forward, but really having to take the bull by the horns, proverbial Taurus energy, and where that power is within your control. But again, try not to panic because we have beautiful aspects coming after this energy. Now, Mars to a degree can be agitating these situations at a slight aspect, but there could be people getting a bit cross, irate, rebellious, potentially with the energy of, again, their belief systems, restrictions and things to that degree. So those things can be coming up, and this can even be martyr energies coming through. Some of us also, there can be loved ones at a distance, and that frustration linking to, wanting to travel, wanting to be able to go and see them, and that, that really coming up in a wound sense for you. Now, the interesting point in this chart on the day of the eclipse are the nodes quincunxing Pluto. Now, Pluto is very Mars orientated. It's also 8th house placement. From a zodiac point of view, from an astrological point of view, rather, it's 8th house placement, births, deaths, endings, resurrection, the ability to rebuild and bounce back. And it's currently in Capricorn. Now, the nodes being in Gemini and Sagittarius, but we'll talk about Gemini. It's, how it's impacting us being able to bounce back. And I think these subjects are coming up and they will be tackled head on. Now let's get into the energy of element by element with your zodiac signs inside of each element. So you can stream forward. I will label them so you know exactly where your zodiac sign is. Let's get on to air signs. Gemini. Now, Gemini, this is your first house placement, so there could be something personally occurring. This can be with your self-esteem, your belief systems, your viewpoints, and especially since Sagittarius links to your relationship sector, this can be your marriages, contracts, partnerships, something inside that changing and you directly changing. This can be a key point where you're ending one cycle and beginning another, but for each of us individually, it will be an ending and a new beginning. And it doesn't have to be that you're not still doing the same thing, but it can be something inside of that you've taken it up a notch. It's some circumstance is transforming you, and that can be directly inside yourself. Now, Taurus is your 12th house placement. So again, your psychology surrounding something. It could be spiritual, it could be your communication, your thought process. Whatever these things are, how you've been showing up in the world, how people are seeing you, it can be transformed in a yin and yang effect. Try and balance your crown chakra, as well as you might find that you're more verbal during this time and assertive. And this can be really you speaking out about something connected to the way you see things, but directly, both the 1st, the 7th, and the 12th house placement, something that was hidden from you, maybe again your psychology surrounding things, you directly are transforming. Feel free, Gemini, to comment or ask any questions and tell me how this directly resonates with you. Do remember though, it can be something already that can have started off. Look back to May and see how it connects, and remember this is an energy that will transform over the next 6 to 18 months. Okay, beautiful Libras. Now, Gemini connects to your 9th house, which can be, again, long distance energy. It can be you looking at the trajectory of where your life is going. Also, when it does come to the way you communicate, technology, movement, the assets that you have to be able to do the things that you're doing, it can be that these energies inside of life need upgrading. You also can find during this, you are implementing things inside your life to change the way you are doing things, how this relates. Okay, so we also have the 3rd house of Sagittarius. So a lot of day-to-day routine, movement, communication, email. So all of those things that you're doing, pay close attention to. Be very careful in the way you're communicating. Double check things. Do your editing, do your auditing. And again, with this Taurus energy, it can be trying to pull everything in that is going to work for you. Really focused in on that Plutonian energy with the 8th house placement of the feasibility of things. Really ushering in those energies. So you're really ending one cycle and beginning another. So 8th house can be shared resources, it can be legacies, it can be taxation. But also from a spiritual point of view with the axis of both Sagittarius and Gemini, I'm really seeing you guys looking at the bigger picture of, okay, where you stand right now with current worldly events. What are you going to do with that energy? And how can you use what you do have with both the 3rd and the 9th house to move that energy forward? Okay, my beautiful Aquarians, let's have a look at your energy. Now, Gemini falls in your 5th house of creativity. Now, yes, it is very creative orientated. It's what you can do with your hands. It's also what you can do with your mind, and really alchemizing that energy. Now, moving into it, you may need to, if you have any uncompleted tasks, something can be coming to a head and changing. But there can be a new way that you're tapping into that 5th house placement, especially over the next 6 to 18 months with that area. Now, I'm also seeing from the 11th house point of view with Sagittarius for you guys, really with your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, they can really be transforming. So inside this transit, it can be education, upskilling, using media, doing things in a different way, bringing in that co-creative energy. I do find this to be a good frequency coming through. Try not to get triggered. If you have got all your ducks in a row, especially by next month, it can really, really benefit you. But ultimately, there can be triggers linking to these areas, endings and new beginnings, finalizations, a belief system inside that changing, as well as, you know, caution with fertility, because 5th house placement can be, hey, you know, I'm not pregnant, I'm pregnant. So surprises can come with that. And very separately with the 4th house, with Taurus linking to it, your spiritual connection to changes connecting to your home, your daily routine. You know, 4th house is psychological foundation, domestic issues, endings. You know, maybe especially with the axis of your 3rd house, something you're hearing or not talking about is coming up in a wound sense and triggering this. And this can even be on the media. But again, wanting more luxuries and maybe feeling you're not getting what you need inside that environment. And again, that can be coming up for you, but it is transforming and moving forward. Aquarius, please do drop me a message in the bottom and tell me how this relates, especially moving into next month. You know, these energies can take a little bit of time, but I'm feeling they're really going to start amping up even prior to this energy and moving forward. Hi, my beautiful water signs, on to yours. Now, that is Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces in that order. First up, Cancer. Oh, Cancer, okay. Yours is landing in your 12th house. Now, there can be some healing going on here. There can be an emotional energy connecting to siblings. It can connect to your belief systems of not being heard, maybe misunderstood, and especially with the axis of Sagittarius in your 6th. You know, some of these things you do need to spiritually let go of. You might be also wearing yourself out and having too much on your plate and feeling you've got to be, you know, protective of yourself. And this can have an energy where with the moon and you relating to the moon, it can be feminine related energies. Now, your emotions, your feelings connected to things can be coming up. Now, with the 12th house also, when it does come to your intuition, your thought processes, your psyche, please don't underestimate yourself. And I think that's where it's really coming to a head with that energy. And when it does link to Aries in your 10th house, please try and keep cool when it does come to that area. It is going to ease up as the month progresses into December, but there can be some agitation and contention. You know, alchemize that energy and really ground yourself in with your base chakra. And if you can communicate effectively with your pairs, anything you're directly working on, and getting some rest, you know, burning that midnight oil can be a theme with that. Feeling that, you know, you can't be everything to everyone. And again, that energy of Gemini going over the old conversational pieces, but your ideas and being able to implement them is going to be magic. So please don't underestimate yourself. Again, it can be affecting all of us collectively in the yin and yang, dark and then light. So trust that process, but please tell me how it lands for you. I'd love to hear your feedback. And definitely from the 11th house point of view, with Taurus hitting that natally for you, it does connect to your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. So, you know, if you are working, you know, are you wanting to be there? If you aren't working, what you're going to do and what those new goals are going to be, what your new spiritual beliefs are and your conditioning inside of that. And really, you know, keeping things close to your chest and being very private when it does come to these things. And that's great if you're wanting to implement goals and move them forward. But also you do need to be quite rested and cautious with diet at this point. Hey, my beautiful Pisces, let's have a look at your energy. Now, Gemini is connecting in with your home environment, the 4th house placement, which can be your psychological foundation, domestic issues, endings, and, you know, obviously, you know, the routine you have surrounding things. And again, it is for anything Mercury orientated, keeping yourself busy, not being busy enough, however that directly relates. But again, that rat race or being cooped up can be transforming and changing, and your belief inside of your accommodation can. It also can be a physical move. Now, separately, you do have the 10th house placement. You know, some of you may wish to have that change. Some of you may be able to work from home, so that can be changing. Others of you are wanting to move towards going back to work. However it's landing, it is doing this axis. Some can be directly working from home and it's getting that into a routine. Others of you, it's moving away from one way of doing it and into another, so however that lands. Again, with your 10th house placement, putting a lot of energy into the things you're working on may cause dynamics when it does come to balancing routines, and it's really important to get that balance back. Again, emotions at the moment with the 2nd house placement of what you have at your disposition. If you have been worried that maybe you couldn't afford a house or something to that degree, in the next 8 months, you can see a transformation in that energy, and the steps moving forward, that ability can come forward. Now, financially and from a self-esteem point of view, again, pay attention to emotions, especially within the psychology of the energy, because Neptune in your 1st house is stationary during that time, and it can be a little bit of an emotional roller coaster just for a few days either side. So keep grounded, clear your crown chakra, and drop me a comment and tell me how this lands for you. Very interesting, Scorpio. Let's have a look at your chart. Okay, we do have subjects relating to your 8th house. And now when it does come to your thoughts relating to getting things done, it can be taxes, it can be paperwork, creativity, education, completing those things, and the bigger like trajectory of where life can be, and that can be career, it can be relationships. 8th house is the house of healthy codependency. It's bringing those things together, whatever that is and how it is landing for you, even at a spiritual level. If it is memories of a connection of a person that's passed over and it's coming back to you at this point, knowing that their DNA and their support and their love is with you. Also, you know, moving through, it could be where we're getting to the point where looking at the bigger picture in life. It's getting our taxes in order, getting our insurances and things to that degree. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, but this is that 8th house placement. This can also be to do with endings. It's like, you know, really nutting over that energy and looking at a situation, because Taurus links to the 7th house and 8th house definitely does link to shared resources. I do feel with the second house placement of Sagittarius, your self-esteem and the things you directly have, you have worked incredibly hard for them. And I do feel you're wanting to hold on to them quite tightly, but it's asking you to trust it. And it's also showing that, you know, what goes out does come in. So please do trust that process. Please tell me how this links. Again, if you are in a partnership and the income is changing, or you're concerned about that, and you're concerned about, it can be self-worth, energy, emotions, and where you're at in this. Separately, it can just be the beauty inside the connection, you know, and cycles changing, spiritually changing and upgrading, can even be taking it to the next level, engagement, marriage, etc. Whatever this is, it's going to pull your life full 360 in a beautiful way. Hi, gorgeous earth signs. Welcome back. Okay, we are tuning into the next zodiac sign. That is Taurus. Okay, Taurus, let's have a look at your chart. Now, Gemini is linking to your second house placement. Now, remember all the attributes I mentioned inside this video connecting to Gemini. This can be our thoughts, our movements. Again, yes, very much our intuition, but it is the second house placement. It's where we build up our foundation. It can be the things that we have at our professional resources, our land and material value, our self-worth energy. This can even be the emotions, you know, and it can be us eating due to stress. However it's landing for you with the second house placement, there is going to be a shift there. So again, we do get the yin and yang. With Sagittarius being the 8th, this can be, again, to do with inheritances, taxes, healthy codependency, of really learning and building that very strong energy inside the 8th house placement of now wanting to have healthy connections with things that are resonating with you. So what do I mean by that? The building blocks of life, you know, to get to where you need to be. This can be where you feel, I'll give you an example, wanting more land. Okay, well, what steps am I going to need to take? You know, where you need to be, what you need to do to get those things in order. Now, you personally can be attracting these things because Taurus is linking to the first house, which is kind of handy and kind of not, because we do have Uranus and Taurus retrograde until the 1st of January 2021. So this is a great time to channel that energy intuitively. Yes, something at a 3D level can happen relating to these two areas, and how you're feeling about those things. Now, it can be where potentially first house placement, where we stand in our way. However, because the eclipse is relating to the second house, this can be those things that you directly have at your disposition and networking out. These can be going from one set of paradigms to another, and it can even be in shifting employment and, you know, grabbing those areas and monopolizing on them at a point. Now, if you're in a connection, it can be that where both of you are working together on the bigger goals. This can be relating to various areas. Now, whatever those are, the 8th house can benefit it. So moving through this area, looking at life and seeing how you can bring things together. And it also, for those of you that are single, can mean the same energy. Okay, beautiful Virgos, let's have a look at your chart. Now, with yours, you can have a circumstance surrounding the things you've been working on. Now, this can be various areas. Now, yes, although the 10th house with Gemini is to do with your routine, you might have been more busy. You might have been really working hard on yourself or a situation. There's also where it can link to career and employment. So this is career, reputation, fame, or lack of. It can be the image as well. So with the Gemini aspect, it can be that this area is transforming, and over the next 6 months, you will see a difference, but there will be a 360 within this area. Now, also with the link of Taurus in the 9th, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, looking at the bigger plan of where you want to be, your travel, your purpose in life, and balancing it with the energy of that Gemini, which can be communication. I do feel you'll be really, really direct, and especially if with the Sagittarius energy, you have been quite homebound, this is where you can go from one paradigm to another. You can be, for some of you, in the next month, looking at changing home up and maybe changing the way you're doing things so you can get the best out of what you're trying to work towards. Overall, I do feel you will be out and about and pretty busy, but the 10th house can bring direct changes in it. If unemployed, you can become employed, and if employed, you may choose to change that avenue of area. Please tell me how this directly lands for you. I'd love to get your feedback and see how it is happening in your life, both with those houses I've mentioned. Hi Capricorn, now onto your zodiac sign. Now you do have the 6th house placement. And again, like I said, in astrology, it depends on the work we've been doing and how this can come through. Now, whatever this is, all of us individually will have placements that are transforming us. Gemini is going to be there for 2.5 years. We are having the energy connected to the North Node playing out in this eclipse, and it is landing in your 6th house placement. If you have been finding that you have been very tired, very stressed, working very hard, trying to adjust the way people see you, your health, your diet, all these things can have a transformation and a turning point. Now, it can be where if you hadn't been looking after yourself, it can be coming up in a subject matter. It also can be where you had been working hard and you're going to start reaping the rewards. Now again, a lot of the 12th house is coming up with Sagittarius. Now this is your spirituality. It can, yes, be the house of your undoing. It can be the house of mental asylums, imprisonment, and hidden enemies. But it also can be a natural place in which you can alchemize peace. Needing to look after yourself, needing to get to a space where you can get grounded, have time out, potentially even from media and agitation and being super busy. This can be a great way to deal with this transit. I'm also seeing there can be subjects relating to both romance, children, and co-creative energy. Maybe not having those things at your devices or having those things, and suddenly it can be to a degree changing and shifting the trajectory of the dream. Now, with Taurus linking to this, money may have been going into that. Money may have not been coming into it. There can be concerns surrounding that, but I do see that energy easing as we move forward. Now, Capricorn, if this is linking to your creative projects, trying to get the resources together, pulling it all together, you might have been working super hard at that. And I do see as you continue moving through this transit, it will assist you in beneficial ways. Okay, fire signs, we're here to do this final chapter, and then we'll have some information also at the end of this video. That's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So first up, Aries. Hi, beautiful Aries. Let's have a look at the astrology. Now, the 3rd house is being activated for you. So, geez, fun. Okay, technology, vehicles, communication. Be careful of your phone. Also, the way you are expressing yourself. This can be transforming and changing. Let's have a look at your chart. Now, we do have Neptune and Pisces in your 12th house, so you might have been really thinking on things. And again, because it's going to be stationary, there can be something that is really coming to you intuitively, but you're scared to potentially act on it. I do feel if you're cautious with that frequency, especially since Aries and Chiron is still retrograde until next month on the 15th, then in shadow, the agitation frequency within your life can be there. But I do see when it does come to your routine, your short journeys, the hustle and bustle, it can be a bit frustrating, but some of those things can be tying up if you've been working really hard and you've been busy. Also, if you have been quite local and needing to use technology more so, you might have really learned quite a bit from this. And again, there can be benefits from this area. Now, Taurus is hitting your 2nd house placement. Some of those networking energies may have gone by the wayside. They still may be there for you, but you might be rebuilding that area. You might be shaking it up and changing it up. But some of those energies can be bringing benefits as well with the 2nd house placement. This can be self-development, networking, marketing, advertising, and also with Sagittarius being linked to your 2nd house placement, 2nd house, 9th house, with Sagittarius. Again, it can be to do with foreign countries, travel, and you might have had to have swapped your life up. Some of you also may have been quite local due to what is going on in the collective, and really looking at that and looking at spiritual belief systems, your education, And a lot of that, you're applying it to your 3D life now, and I do feel you can get benefits out of it. But some of you, yes, you do need to be cautious while driving, on telecommunications. Be very careful with reading the fine print, a bit like a Mercury retrograde, really. But there can be a sudden change when it does come down to the 3rd house. Hey, my beautiful Leos. Now, yours in Gemini is the 11th house. I don't even know if that's proper English. Friends, clubs, associates, aspirations, humanitarian, technology. Now, all of those things are very much linked to, yet again, to balance it is the bigger group vision. Pulling things together. And again, you've had the axis of Sagittarius in the South Node, connecting to your 5th house. So, you know, tapping into your co-creative energy and alchemizing it and pushing it towards the 11th house. It's all of what you've learned within that creative energy you can pull together, and you can make things happen. And especially by next month, that area is really going to benefit you beautifully. But there can be something coming up to do with maybe you shifting your perspective inside this, changing the trajectory. It might even be friendship groups transforming, you moving over from one group of people to another, you moving over from one career to another, or going to that next level. However it's going to land for you, I do feel your social circle is changing and becoming larger, and so are your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. So have faith in yourself and tell me how this lands. Now, the funny thing is, Leo, Taurus directly links to the 10th house. Now, with the 10th house, I do feel with the changes, it can be where what you do both creatively and in a communication sense with your networking in some shape or form can financially benefit you. Even if we are looking at the energy of Uranus and Taurus retrograde and making aspects this month, what we do need to realize is this transit is transforming this energy with this eclipse energy. Hey Sagittarius, I haven't forgotten you, love you to bits. Now your eclipse is coming up next month, as well as the sun is in your energy. So you may be feeling a little bit more vital, but you have to be careful because sun being in third eye energy can be, your perspective and perception can be a bit confused. It can also be you're shining bright like a diamond, or it could be an egoic expression. Now it is 1st house placement, the Sagittarius placement, your 1st house. Now Gemini is hitting the energy of 7th house placement. This can be linking into your marriages, contracts, partnerships. There can be a transformation inside of these energies, which is going to take a new trajectory of a 6-month to 18-month gap. Now try and stay positive with this, because esoterically, spiritually, astrologically, things are happening to transform us to the bigger picture. And I do feel with this, both inside yourself and your connections and contracts, they are shifting. Now Taurus is setting a 6th house placement, so if you have been super fatigued and you have been working super hard on all these areas to spread yourself like butter, I have, and I can relate, had the 1st and the 7th house placement, and it's tough. Just trust in the process that you can do this. You've got that backbone, your Jupiter energy. And I do feel this is really going to benefit you. So trust the process, whatever this is. For some, yes, it can be deciding that a contract, a marriage, or something to that degree simply isn't for you. But for many, it's just taking something to that very next level. However it's going to land for you, please chuck me a message in the box. But again, most of you, if you have been spreading yourself and you've been really applying the energy to that of what resonates with your heart, it will bloom. Now pay attention to your health. Remember, you're worth more than all the gold in the world. Your health means the most. Very much with the analogy, plane going down, what are we told? Put the mask on, look after yourself, get yourself grounded, get yourself healthy, and then everything else will be there. But if we're not here, what do we do? Okay, so you must look after yourself, take care of yourself in this process. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please leave me a comment in the box below. I would love to hear your feedback. If you do want more creative content like this, please click the bell. And if you're wanting a booking, the link is directly below. Now, I trust that you keep safe during this transit. We will see a lot in the media, Please keep together and stay grounded and be cautious of your surroundings. You know, be observant, good old Gemini energy. And cautious of gossiping and things to that degree during this transit. Regardless, I will see you on the other side. I'll see you live for all the twin flame updates, the astrology, the moon energies, and your zodiac signs for next month will be up on premiere soon. Love and light. See you soon.